Hi, today I'm going to be sharing thoughts together with a special guest. But before introducing the guest, let me first introduce the thoughts. Today, many things are becoming clearer. Insider threats cannot be ignored, and the focus on protection defense layers only is not enough. Why? Take a look at the latest incidents at Twitter and Science Institute. Organizations need to look at detection and response systems as well. And these systems must be fitted with behavior analytics because attackers simply are using machines to morph attacks. Now, network detection and response systems, or NDR, is one form of these behavior analytics tools. And NDRs, they rely on analyzing traffic and traffic flows as opposed to logs. What are NDRs? Are they just another point solution we're adding in panic? To take a deeper look at NDR, it's my pleasure to have with me today for an open technology discussion Ammar Inaya, who is a veteran in the cybersecurity and networking space and a very well-known figure in the Middle East. Ammar currently leads Vectra NDR Solutions business here in the region. So Ammar, welcome board.
Welcome, Rabia. Very nice talking to you.
Ammar, my first question would be, okay, organizations have deployed their next generation firewalls. They have set up their multi-factor authentication. They have spent big investments on their SIM. So why they should look at NDRs? Okay, what are the use cases?
So everything in the market now is getting a next generation version. So that's the fact. So it's not only in firewall, also in networking, in endpoint security, even in intrusion detection and prevention. There is always a next generation, and the reason for the next generation is that we need to utilize artificial intelligence as much as possible to automate things. And the same thing applies to threat detection. IDS and IBS, they have spent tens of years trying to give some visibility to the security managers, and unfortunately they cannot cope. The hackers and attackers, they keep changing the way they attack. They keep building a new signature, and they sometimes even use new technique. And unfortunately, we have seen a lot of zero-day attacks that hurt the market, hurt very big organizations. And we're not talking here about ROI, return of investment is not the key word in security. It's the cost of non-investing, the CONI. This is very dangerous term.
So Ammar, how is the NDR deployed?
Okay, so every organization must have a solid prevention system. And the prevention system, it should include the endpoint security, the firewall, sometimes the network access control, and these are a must to filter 99.9% of the noise and the attacks that are trying to target the organization. Now, what if the prevention couldn't stop an attacker? And as you know, there are many attackers. They can go beyond and around the prevention. Think about zero-day attack. Think about deliberate attack. Think about insider attack. The only way to stop these attacks is by detection. So detection is another layer after prevention, and this is where the NDR is playing the role. So just in case, God forbidden, a hacker or a compromise managed to sleep inside the network, or just go around the EDR, or go around the firewall, or go around your prevention system, you need to detect it in real time. And this is the main job of the NDR. So it's a network detect and response. So we use the network as a source to look for possible threats and attacks into the network. And we try to expose them in real time with enough evidence and forensic to convince the security manager that you're under attack. And the R is for the response. A good NDR system should also automate response. So it does automate threat detection using AI, but it should be also able to automate response for the high fidelity threats that it detects. This is where it's deployed. Yeah.
Great, yeah, and to your point, I mean, there are many successful hacks that happened that were using valid credentials. This means that these attackers have already crossed the protection layers and they are now insiders. So other tools or other defense layers should be triggered. So Ammar, is the NDR another point solution we are adding in panic, or is it strategically positioned in the SOC?
There are two use cases for NDR. So the trivial one for companies who have SOC. I can estimate 20% of the organizations in the world have SIEM and SOC today, and they use the SIEM and the SOC to increase their visibility. So they aggregate the logs into one of the major SIEM vendors, and they buy dashboard from the SIEM company, and they hire security analysts, line 1 and line 2 security analysts, and they try to correlate the logs, looking for a possible, track of an attack. And unfortunately, this is taking time and efforts. And as you know, time and effort means money. Now, for those customers, they look at NDR as an extra tool, but very important tool because it optimizes the SOC. So the NDR will be the early alert system autonomously, independently. It will look for attacks and will report them to the SIEM dashboard, and it will follow the SOC process for ticketing, remediation, etc. Now, the remaining part of the market, the 80% of the market, which they are still in the process of, deciding which SIEM to buy and how to do SOC, is it in-house, out-house, they use NDR as a pre-SOC solution. So it's a very beautiful pre-SOC solution. It can be architected between 1 day and 1 week, can be deployed again between 1 day and 1 week, and you can see the result immediately. The NDR will give those organizations that don't have SOC or SIEM today, it will give them real-time visibility, so live detection, and with additional licensing, you can take the metadata and you can retain it, and you can get historical detection. And between live and historical detection, you get the compliance.
Okay. Ammar, this leads me to the second question or the next question. So are the NDRs helping the overwhelmed SOC, or they are just adding to the alert fatigue and the alert pipeline?
So it is really, making the SOC team life much easier. And I quote what I heard from major, CERT organizations in the Middle East. They said before they deployed an NDR, they were looking at tens of billions of events per year. And after they deployed NDR, they immediately jump into the problem and the possible attack.
So Ammar, my last question, how do you see NDR evolving? I mean, are pure play NDR vendors going to continue? Is NDR going to become a feature within other systems? In this market, there are lots of point solutions, and we're seeing overlap in capabilities. So customers are confused, they face integration issues, and they spend lots of investment. So they really would like to know today, before investment, what is the roadmap of this technology?
Now, there is no simple answer here, but I can give you multiple directions that will open the road. Okay, one direction is cloud. Everything now is evolving to the cloud. So in the old days, the NDR was a physical server brain. You have to rack mount it, and it comes with the algorithms built in, and you can update the algorithms either online or offline. And that brain needs sensors. So every NDR solution will need sensors. The sensors can be physical sensors, can be cloud sensors, can be also virtual sensors. The sensors can be separated from the brain or it can be integrated, but at the end you need sensors, and the sensors need to be set in certain important locations of the network. So this is the traditional NDR deployment. Now, mostly of this is going to the cloud. So instead of buying a brain and deploying it into your brain, if you are cloud liberal, no problem with the cloud. All the major cloud vendors today, they have partnership with all major NDR vendors, and you can, rent the brain almost for free from the cloud, and you only pay the NDR vendor for the license. So this is the way it's evolving, okay? So we're separating the brain from the sensor, and then you put the sensors anywhere you want, in campus or in the cloud, and the sensor, they do one job. They look at the raw traffic and they take metadata and they send it to the brain for analytics. So that's one direction, look at that. The other direction is the best location for the NDR is a SOC, which means SIM vendors need to have somehow partnership with NDR, or they should own the NDR. That's the way it's going, okay? So the NDR and the SIM functions are going to correlate. The third road I want to tell you about is the hybrid model. Not every organization in the world will buy a SIM. Buying a SIM is not just going and buy it off shelf. For all these organizations, NDR alone, independent, autonomous, can do a pre-SOC. So you can always buy it alone to give them real-time visibility and somehow store the metadata on any data lake inside so that they get historical. And you go away from all this SOC SIM operation. Not everybody can afford that. We're talking about small, medium organization. They will do that, okay? So these are the three directions where we see NDR evolving.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks, Ammar. So today's session was a bit special, as the thoughts around NDR were shared together with Ammar Inaya, who is the frontliner in the NDR market here in the Middle East region. In summary, the defense layers are identify, protect, detect, and respond. Now, there has been lots of focus around protection. With the latest incidents, it's high time to focus on the detection and response. In my opinion, behavioral NDRs are an evolution and a major depart from intrusion detection and prevention systems. And I believe NDRs will continue to evolve in terms of use cases, SOC integration, and deployment options. And this is mainly because of three reasons. One, the network data will continue to be an indispensable source for the security analyst. Two, attackers will continue to morph attacks, thus enforcing more the need for behavioral-based systems. And three, the cloud will continue to provide the scalable platforms that these systems thrive on. Do you think of NDRs as an integral part of your defense layers? Do you foresee them evolving and coping with the polymorphic attacks? Or do you think otherwise? Please let me know your thoughts and comments below. Thank you very much.